I want to start with a concept that is, frankly, a little disturbing.
Okay.
It's the idea that we all walk around thinking we're these logical, rational beings,
Yeah.
basically Spock from Star Trek,
Right.
when in reality, we're just moist robots.
Moist robots. It's certainly a visceral image to start with.
It sticks with you, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
And it's the central idea in the book we're doing our deep dive on today, Win Bigly by Scott Adams.
And look, I think we both know what people are thinking.
Oh, yeah. Scott Adams, the Dilbert guy. Talked
Yeah.
about the 2016 election.
Exactly. And that is precisely where we need to, pause and set the ground rules for this.
100%.
Because this book uses the 2016 election as its main case study. People immediately get their guard up. They think we're about to dive into a political debate.
And to be crystal clear,
Yeah.
we are not. This is not about policy. It's not about whether an outcome was good or bad.
We have to look at this like engineers. Adams treats the entire campaign as a masterclass in persuasion. We're just looking under the hood to see how the engine works. We are not arguing about where the car was going.
Perfect. So with that disclaimer locked in, let's fire up our mental slide deck for everyone. Slide 1. The big question. Why should we even trust Scott Adams on this?
Well, he lays out a few reasons. First, he's a trained hypnotist. He's been studying persuasion for decades. But the bigger one, I think, is what he calls FU money.
Right. He was already rich from Dilbert.
So no one owned him. He felt he had the freedom to say unpopular things without, risking his career. He also put skin in the game.
He predicted a Trump win when Nate Silver and pretty much everyone else had the odds at, 2%?
2%. He risked his entire reputation on it. And he claims he has a learned inability to feel embarrassment, which, well, that probably helps when you're making high-risk predictions.
So he was looking at it differently. While everyone else was analyzing polls and policy, he saw what he called weapons-grade persuasion.
He was watching a different movie than the rest of us.
Which brings us perfectly to slide 2. Let's talk about the moist robot theory itself.
So, yeah, it's this idea that humans are programmable. We're biological entities. And if you provide the right inputs...
You get the right outputs.
Pretty much. He argues we are rational maybe 10% of the time. And even then, it's for stuff with no emotional content.
Like deciding what sandwich to buy for lunch.
Exactly. But the second emotion gets involved. Politics, who you marry, your career reason, just goes right out the window.
But see, that's where I struggle. If I vote for someone, I can give you a whole list of logical reasons why. I can point to facts and figures.
And Adams would say you are, and this is his word, hallucinating.
Hallucinating.
He says your brain makes up those reasons after you've already made the emotional decision. It's a concept called cognitive dissonance. When facts conflict with your beliefs, you don't change your beliefs.
You just invent a new reality to make the facts fit.
Precisely. You hallucinate an explanation to protect your ego. It's why two people can watch the exact same debate and see two completely different movies.
In my movie, my candidate was brilliant. In your movie, he was a stumbling mess.
And neither of us is lying. We're just experiencing a reality that's been curated by our own internal biases.
So this is what he calls the third dimension, the world of persuasion, where we normally operate in the second dimension, where we think facts and logic matter.
Right. And in the third dimension, facts are, well, they're secondary.
They're optional.
They're optional. What matters is where you direct the audience's focus.
Okay, learn into the toolkit. Slide 3. This is where it gets a little scary. The first tool of a master persuader is anchoring, specifically through exaggeration.
And the textbook example he uses is the wall.
Ah, yes.
So when that idea was first proposed, the fact checkers went into overdrive. It's too expensive. The terrain is impossible. Mexico will never pay for it. Factually, it was a mess.
And in normal debate, in the second dimension, if you're factually wrong, you lose.
But look what happened. By making such a huge visual controversial claim, he set a mental anchor. And for the next year and a half, what was everyone talking about?
Border security.
Exactly. Even the people arguing against the wall were forced to talk about the border. The factual error was actually a strategic masterpiece because it owned the topic in everyone's mind.
So the exaggeration forces the focus.
It's directionally accurate, even if it's factually wrong. It aims for the gut.
All right, next tool. The linguistic kill shot, which sounds like a move from a video game.
It kind of is. It's a very specific kind of nickname. It's not just calling someone a jerk. A kill shot has to be visual, and it has to confirm a bias you might already have.
The classic example being low-energy Jeb.
It's devastating, because before you heard that, you might have just thought Jeb Bush was, calm, soft-spoken person.
Well, once you hear low energy,
It becomes a filter. Suddenly, every time he pauses, it's low energy. Every time he has a calm expression, it's low energy. You actively search for evidence to confirm the label.
it's a confirmation bias loop. And you can see why it worked when other things didn't. Like, remember Donald Trump?
Yeah, that John Oliver bit, it didn't stick at all.
Why not?
Because it's not visual. Dumps is just a sound. It doesn't paint a picture. Low energy makes you picture a dying battery. Crooked makes you picture a thief. The moist robot needs the visual.
Which connects to the next technique, strategic ambiguity. This feels weird because you always want leaders to be specific, right? Tell us your plan.
Specificity is the enemy of persuasion at that level. If a leader says, my plan is X, Y, and Z, they've just bored or annoyed everyone who doesn't like X, Y, or Z.
But if you just say, make America great again.
It's a Rorschach test. It's an empty vessel.
I see. So if I'm a factory worker, great means my job comes back.
If you're a social conservative, great means a return to traditional values.
Right.
If you're a hawk on foreign policy, it means a stronger military. The slogan doesn't tell you what to think. It invites you to project your own personal fantasy onto it.
It's like a horoscope. It's so vague that you fill in the blanks yourself and think, wow, that's totally me.
You feel understood. Now contrast that with a slogan like Hillary Clinton's, I'm with her.
Well, that's not ambiguous at all. It's about her.
Right. From a persuasion standpoint, Adams argues it's weaker because the focus is on the candidate, not the voter's own desires and fantasies.
Okay, one more tactic before we switch to how we can use this. The high ground maneuver. I see this one in the corporate world all the time.
This is the get out of the weeds move. When you're being attacked on specifics, you don't argue the specifics. You zoom out to a higher concept that no one can disagree with.
The example he uses is Steve Jobs and the iPhone 4 antenna issue.
Yeah, the phone was dropping calls. So Jobs gets on stage. He doesn't talk about signal attenuation or engineering. He just says, we aren't perfect. Phones aren't perfect.
He moves the argument from your specific phone is broken to all technology is flawed.
He took the high ground. He made the specific complaint seem petty by admitting to a universal truth. Trump did the same thing when he was called a whiner.
Right. Instead of saying, no, I'm not, which sounds defensive.
He embraced it. He said something like, I am the best whiner. I whine until I win. And I'm going to whine for this country. He reframed a character flaw as a feature.
So he's not whining, he's fighting for you.
Took the high ground.
Okay, so let's shift to our next slide 4. Presuasion. This is the idea that the persuasion happens before you even make your argument.
This is based on the work of Robert Cialdini. And the key takeaway is that context controls everything. Visuals always beat audio.
The study that got me was the one with the American flag.
It's wild, isn't it? Researchers found that just having a small American flag in the corner of a survey, just the image, made people temporarily more likely to express conservative views.
They didn't even know it was happening to them.
The moist robot just sees the symbol, and it primes a whole set of ideas and identities. Your brain is getting programmed before the first question is even asked.
Which leads to this idea of pacing and leading. You have to match someone's emotional state before you can change it.
You have to join them in their movie first. If someone is angry and you come in calm and rational, you've already lost. You have to validate their anger first. That's pacing. Then you can try to redirect it. That's leading.
Okay, I want to pivot now for our last slide. Slide 5. We've been in the world of politics, but Adams says we can apply all this to our own lives. He starts with something called the talent stack.
This was really liberating for me. It's the antidote to this pressure we all feel to be, the absolute best at one thing.
The Tiger Woods of your field, which is basically impossible.
It is. So Adams says, forget being the best. Just be good, like top 25% at 2 or 3 things that combine in a unique way.
He uses himself as the example. He says he's not the best artist in the world.
Far from it. And he's not the funniest writer or the savviest business mind, but you stack good artist plus good humor plus some business experience.
And you get Dilbert, a category of 1.
A monopoly. And you can apply that anywhere. Maybe you're a good engineer. Well, there are lots of good engineers. But if you're a good engineer who is also good at public speaking,
suddenly you're the one presenting to the board. You're on the leadership track.
that second skill multiplies the value of the first.
He pairs this with another philosophy, Systems over goals. This one is tough because we're all taught to set SMART goals.
He thinks goals are for losers.
That's a little harsh.
It's meant to be provocative. But think about it. If your goal is lose 10 pounds, every single day you haven't lost the 10 pounds, you're technically in a state of failure. It's demoralizing.
And then when you hit it, the feeling is gone in a minute.
Right. Compare that to a system. A system is something you do every day that increases your odds of a good outcome. So your system isn't lose 10 pounds, it's eat healthy food every day.
That sounds like semantics, but what's the real difference?
The payout. He uses writing Win Bigly as an example of a system.
The book is a huge bestseller. He wins.
The book flops. But by writing it, he became a sought-after pundit, learned a ton about persuasion, and raised his public profile. He still wins.
So even if the goal failed, the system of writing the book gave him new skills and assets.
It's 2 ways to win, no way to lose. Whereas a goal is 1 way to win, infinite ways to lose. He says you should always be looking for projects where you come out ahead even if the main thing fails.
That is a completely different way to look at your career. Don't ask, will this project succeed? Ask, will I get smarter or more skilled from doing this no matter what?
You're engineering the odds in your favor.
Wow. Okay, this has been a lot to unpack. I feel like my brain has been rewired a little bit.
It's a heavy book. It's a tough pill to swallow.
So if there's one thing you want people to take away from this, to start using the persuasion filter tomorrow, what is it?
Stop listening to the words people are saying and start looking at the structure. When you see an ad or a political speech, don't ask, is this true? Ask, what are they trying to make me focus on right now?
Look for the anchor.
Look for the anchor. Look for the frame. Ask yourself why you're suddenly thinking about this topic and not another one. Chances are, a persuader put it there.
And maybe just gently remind yourself that you are, in fact, a moist robot.
We all are. But now, maybe, we can see a little bit of the code.
That's our deep dive. Try not to hallucinate too much out there.
We'll see you in the third dimension.